Well, Mike Houston made it look easy this election day, which is interesting because, of course, he was mayor for 8 years back from 1979 to 87, but he tried to come back before. He tried to come back in 2003. He didn't make it into what was then the runoff, which had only two candidates in it, when it was Tim Davlin and Tony Libri. And we asked him when he visited our editorial board, and when he was the clear frontrunner, why is it that you think this year is better than '03? And one of the reasons was he's basically retired from the bank. He's now chairman emeritus of Town and Country Bank, and he started a year early. He really didn't start campaigning seriously till like January of 2003. But it is true that on a radio show about a year ago, February, Mike Houston made it pretty clear he was going to run, and he has almost not stopped running. And I think the fact that he ended up with 47 plus, just a little over 47% of the vote in a four-person field in this election shows that hard work, plus his reputation, plus other factors, I think paid off. When I say other factors, it has been a difficult financial time, and he's got a banking background. There's finance there. You had the other candidates, Sheila Stock Smith, who came in with 21%, and Mike Coffey, Jr., who came in with just under 20%, and Frank Coons, a three-term alderman who couldn't run for another term as alderman and tried out for mayor, got just under 12%. None of them had, certainly Alderman Coons had experience in city government. Sheila Stock Smith had worked in city government too as a legislative or as an educational liaison, and Mike Coffey Jr. His family's restaurant Saputo's is across the street from City Hall, but Houston studied things to a point that made his knowledge base clear to voters, and he was everywhere. I talked to him early on election day. And he mentioned that he hadn't really had a day off in months. Saturdays, he was out campaigning most of the day. Sunday mornings, he was going with Bill Logan, who was on the park board and was a co-chairman of his campaign, along with George Preckwinkle on the county board. And they would go to different East Side churches on many Sunday mornings. So this was well planned, well executed. The race got a little odd in the middle, from a political writer standpoint. And I truly do like good government, but a good political story is a good political story. And when the Sangamon County Republican Party at first endorsed Mike Coffey Jr., and then after he came in third in the primary, removed their backing, they don't particularly call it an endorsement, but it was backing, and released their committeemen to support whomever they wanted. And then Coffey, later it came out that there was a discussion between Mike Coffey and chairman of the Republican Party, Tony Libri, as to if Libri, Coffey said, well, I just paid $13,000 in advertising and you want me to get out of the race? And Libri says, maybe we can handle that. And then a check was cut, and then Coffey wouldn't take the check when his friend Joe Aleo, the county clerk, called a couple of times to offer the check, which was from the Sangamon County Republican Foundation, where Bill Cellini is still an officer. It's all very weird in Springfield. That was just a little fascinating. Coffey stayed in the race, did not drop out, said that while he's a Republican individually and thinks, a lot of his Republican friends, he disagreed with Tony Libri and thought Libri was trying to buy him out of the race. Libri's view was that he asked for the money and then he wouldn't take it. So that was a good political story. It didn't help Mike Coffey. It didn't help him rise up. Another interesting part, of course, is that the United States Senator that called Springfield home, Dick Durbin, was strongly behind Sheila Stock Smith. She has plowed the fields of trying to make our city better for a long period of time through a number of organizations. She, and as the education liaison for late Mayor Davlin, she worked with the schools. And, Durbin has a pretty good touch with fundraising, and so he called friends who have pots of money in different places. It became an issue that thousands of dollars were flowing into Sheila Stock Smith campaign from law firms in Alton and Chicago. But it also gave her legitimacy in the kind of campaign she ran. Mail pieces, television ads, well-produced from a Chicago firm. These are not inexpensive things to do. So you really, and Coffey after this dust-up with Tony Libri, made it a strong race too. He had well-produced ads out of town as well. But underneath all, and Frank Coons, who didn't go to many of the several public forums that were offered to these mayoral candidates, Frank Coons basically said people know me and they should trust me and I'm honest. And he is very open as a member of the city council, but I think it was a tactical mistake for him not to participate in some of those forums. He did participate in those that were news media only, but any sponsored by a group with an axe to grind, he said, I don't want to go there. They just want to promote themselves. And for a candidate for mayor, I think sometimes you have to talk to lots more people than you might want to.